Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, October 25th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple of clarification points. Number one, the price you see over here will still be changing, and the candlestick right there you see will be moving. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. Stock number one here, NIO, absolute beat down today, but huge volume, very popular stock. And now we have an interesting scenario because we got to give credit where credit's due, but a very respectable bounce. I mean, you stop and think about the fact that at one point earlier this morning, the price was all the way down there, but it's now since worked its way up to that area. That does bring about a more than valid question of, is this the start of something bigger? Is there genuine power behind this move? And I have no idea, but by using charts, we can answer that question very straightforward. And that revolves around the fact of, or I should say more so the idea that price movements with genuine power, with true strength, they're going to show signs of progress. Now, of course, what does that even mean? Signs of progress, that's just words. And that's a fair point, but that's why I love charts. They allow you to take words and then make them very visual. So when I say a sign of progress, what I mean by that is right there at $9. And I'm not saying this will occur, but let's say the price comes down here and then breaks down through there. What would you have at that point? You'd have the price having gone quite literally right back to where it all started. And not to insult your intelligence, price movements that go back to where they were, not exactly a sign of true power. Whereas on the flip side, if the price were to come down here, bounce around, and then head back up, now all of a sudden, what would you have? Well, you'd have a set of lows right here. You'd have lows down there. And if you envision those as stair steps, well, now you'd have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. And that's what progress is all about. That's what strength's all about, just showing those movements in the upwards direction. So is this the start of a much bigger bounce? Let's see if the price can show some signs of progress. And we are going to define that by staying up above that $9 mark. Next one, MULN, did this one on Friday, talked about that pattern there and how things were looking good with this sideways movement, and then today got just another explosion. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of these lines down there as they've served their purpose for now. And we have ourselves another solid pattern. And let me be very clear, this is not me trying to imply that I have a great, discovery or some sort of special talent. I assure you, a lot of people are drawing what I have drawn right here. And I bring all that up because when a lot of people, and let me change that to green to represent more so the support part of the pattern, but I assure you that when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, caught a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So right here, this is an area, and let's just make it one color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the momentum move right here. Let's put the golf hole down here to make it more visual. This would be a bull pennant pattern. So while there is no such thing as a guarantee in the market, my point here is that is it valid? Is it plausible to think that if the price comes up here and then breaks up through there, that break in and of itself could get quite a bit of upside buying pressure? Absolutely. So again, no guarantees, but that is certainly a valid thought process to have. So if you like bull pennant patterns, if you like penny stocks, then here you go. Next one, SNAP. Snapchat did this one on Friday and talked about how that was the key level of resistance right there at 780. So for any of you that watched Friday's video and then took that break right there, congratulations. You got yourself a very nice bounce in the upwards direction. And then the price did pull back here, but right there we have a classic example of this area of support now behaving as, area of resistance now behaving as an area of support. And this goes back to the talking point about, okay, well, is this a strong bounce? Is there any sort of genuine power? Well, let's see if the price can show signs of progress. And in this situation, the quote-unquote sign of progress being right there, that green line at $7.80. I'm not going to go through everything because that'd just be repetitive at this point. You understand, why that quote-unquote sign of progress is very helpful in, answering those questions. In terms of levels of resistance, next key level to watch very closely, right up there at $8.50. You can see that the price got up there several times today and just couldn't ever quite get through it or, pick up any sort of momentum. So keep an eye on 850 as that main area of resistance. But yes, no doubt about it, very, very solid bounce is your true power. Let's see if the price can show some signs of progress. Next one, TSLA Tesla, and what a move on this one. Another big solid bounce like a lot of these other stocks here. Was looking really rough, got the bounce here, and is now approaching an area that I've talked about several times before, up here around the 214 mark. And you can see right there, didn't quite hit that red line, but got relatively close and then has pulled back a little bit this last 30 minutes. But the point here being is very nice bounce. And we go back to the talking point of, okay, nice bounce, but is there any sort of genuine power? Well, let's see if the price can now show signs of progress, which leads to, okay, well, how are you defining the quote unquote sign of progress? And that's this green line right here at 205. So 205, going to be that main area of support, an important area, as that will represent a sign of progress. And then as terms of, just more power and more momentum, let's see if the price can get up there to that 214 mark and not only break above it, but stay above it, because you can see twice already, both there and there, the price has broken above that level. But when it comes to staying above that area, that's where the problems have followed. But overall, fantastic bounce. Let's see if this is indeed the start of something bigger. Next one, MOTS, and we have ourselves another one of these self-fulfilling prophecy type pattern here. So again, by no means am I trying to imply that this is a great discovery, that this is some sort of special talent on my part. I assure you a lot of people have noticed all these levels here. So you'll have a lot of people watching this pattern. So again, green for support. And then let's make this all one color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big momentum move there. Let's get our golf ball down here. We have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. So just to reiterate, while there are no guarantees, is it plausible, is it valid to think that if the price were to come up here and get the break up through that pattern, that break could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a plausible, outcome and plausible scenario that could play out. But yes, if you like, maybe the other one was the bull pennant on a penny stock. So if you like a little higher price stocks up above that dollar mark, then you have a bull pennant here on a stock right around the $2 area. Real quick, wanted to pause and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online training that I'm offering later on in the week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool and how it can and should be used to build consistency as a trader, then definitely get signed up for the free training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying what you've seen, then certainly get signed up for the free training. Next one, AMZN, Amazon, and we're approaching a very interesting potential resistance battleground here, which you can see via that level right there, which puts the breakout point right up around, let's just call it the $121 mark. So 121 will be a very important level to watch from a resistance breakout standpoint. But in all actuality, from a trend standpoint, things have been doing just fine. You can see these lows here have continued to get higher and higher over time, and to continue on with the theme of progress. And this is what progress looks like. Just those stair steps getting higher and higher, and that's what you want to see. So even if the price does pull back a bit, you have a couple of key levels of support. You have that purple line there, the 50-period moving average at 117. You have that pink line there, the 200-period moving average at 115. We'll call it 60. So like I said, pullbacks by no means are the end of the world. Now, if the price comes down here and crashes through both those levels, okay, at that point, that's a much different conversation. But as of right now, any sort of pullback, even if it does get rejected by that trend line up there, still has plenty of opportunity to build a higher base, and that's what it's all about. But in my opinion, at least the most interesting and, kind of fascinating dynamic on this one is, can the price finally get up there and break up through that upward trend line? Let's see how it goes on Tuesday. Next one, PLTR, and you want to talk about a self-fulfilling prophecy point. Check out this level here at 832. Once, twice, 3 times, and then 4 times. The price has gone up there and rejected down through it. So you got to think that every breakout player and their brother's uncle is watching this area, and as I've said and will continue to say, guarantees, absolutely not, but valid, rational to think that if the price can get up to 832 and then finally break up through it, that break could very well create additional buying pressure. That is certainly a more than valid and logical thought process to have, especially when this thing's got such a big track record now of that area acting as resistance. And to me, that's what's very interesting about this one, is the price is certainly within striking distance of it. Still got a little bit ways to go, but that's the big question, is can the price get up to 832? And if it gets up to that level, can it break through it? Let's see what happens. Next one here, AMD, and it's almost become tradition at this point, but I'm going to keep it very brief because nothing really happened today, and I know you long-time viewers know what I mean, but if you haven't, we've been tracking this big old sideways channel here. Going on for weeks upon weeks now, and today, once again, the price is still basically dead center of the channel, but I want to keep our eyes on it because it really seems like it's got such a well-defined pattern that when it does finally break, it's going to make a good, worthwhile move in either direction, whether that's for the longs to the upside or the shorts to the downside. The fact of the matter is there's a very, very historic now, very, very well-defined sideways channel, so it's worth at least keeping somewhere on the watch list, even if it's towards the bottom, because, yeah, right now it's just been chopping around, back and forth in between, but when it breaks, you got to think that there's a good chance it could make a significant move. Next one, META, Meta, formerly Facebook here, and a couple of very well-defined levels that I think a lot of people will be watching, myself included, and I did trade this one today. But the level here that I think a lot of shorts are going to be watching, right down there around that 128 mark. So let's see, can the price hold above that level? If it does not, then I think it's more than reasonable to think that if the price were to come down to that level and then fall down through it, that break could create quite a bit of downside selling pressure. So definitely keep a close eye on that level. But if the price does turn itself around and start to head back up, the main battleground to watch very closely will be that pink line up there, 200 period moving average. You can see that level rejected the price there, and then earlier on in the day rejected the price. So that's one of those areas where you got to think a lot of people are also watching that area. But just from kind of a good solid cut and dry, potential to put together some trade plans. In my opinion, at least you have some very well-defined levels with the 128 and then that 200 period moving average up there for maybe more so the breakout players. So those would be the main levels I'm watching on Tuesday. Next one, TQQQ. This is an ETF that will allow you to take advantage of the NASDAQ if you think that the NASDAQ is going to rise just at a lower price point. And got the breakout here. And this will mean a bit more to those who have watched past watch list videos. But if you haven't, we've been talking about that level right there, which has been a big problem. But today, finally got the break of it. Now the price is above it, which leads to a very exciting question. Is this the start of something even bigger? Now, to be fair, maybe it's not. Maybe this thing just drops back into where it was. That's completely possible because there are no guarantees. But that is a two-sided coin because, well, maybe this breakout is indeed finally the start of a much bigger move in the upwards direction. And that's the idea of those watch lists, to find unique, to find interesting situations and not randomly rush out and buy anything, but to watch it. So yes, TQQQ finally did get that very stubborn breakout. The price is above it. Now, can the price stay above it? And then secondarily, can the price build some momentum and continue to break out? The week is young, still 4 days left. So let's see how this one continues to play out. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for the free training. Like I said, it'll be later this week, Thursday, October 27th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, do two things for me, please. Hit that like button, leave a simple comment down below. Tell me what you traded today. Tell me what you're watching tomorrow. But again, get signed up for the class, hit the like button, leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good one.